Okay, so you can see that just by moving that little magnet along her motor cortex, you're getting different parts of her hand or her fingers twitch. Um, I find that super fascinating. So there's a lot you can do with TMS too, but that's just an example of what our motor strip does. Okay, moving on to another brain pedal. So this is the parietal lobe. So this lobe back here, that's in yellow right here, is called the parietal lobe. And it's basically the home to a lot of somatosensory information. So what that means is things about the body, somato, and sensory. So things like your senses, what your body's feeling. Things like textures you're touching or feelings of pain, those kind of things. So we just talked about this orange strip called the motor strip in the front. I told you there's a matching stripe in the back. So this stripe is called the somatosensory strip. So just like how the motor strip has parts of the cortex for each of your body parts and they control the body parts movements, the somatosensory strip also has parts of cortex for each of your body parts, except this time it contains the sensations felt by that body part. So for instance, your hands and your mouth take up a lot of cortical real estate, if you will, on the somatosensory strip. So there's a lot of section that's devoted to your hand because your hand feels most of what you interact with. There's a lot more hand area than there is, for instance, something like your elbow or your armpit, because you're not doing a lot of sensation feeling with those parts of your body. Similar to things like your mouth, your tongue has a lot of real estate because you're sensing a lot of things on your tongue. So this stripe in the back, somatosensory strip, is kind of parallel to the motor strip. One does motor movement and the other does sensation feeling. So as a whole, in addition to feeling sensations, the parietal lobe also encodes things like where your body is in space or the location. So that controls kind of how you perceive yourself, where you're at in your world, but also where, when you're looking at something, where objects are around you. So we'll get into this more in later chapters. But the parietal lobe is home to what we call the where pathway of object identification. So when you're looking at an object and you're trying to figure out things about it, you're going to determine what that object is and where it's at. So determining where the object's location is something that's going to involve the somatosensory strip. Or sorry, it's going to involve the parietal lobe. So think of the parietal lobe as home to somatosensory information, sensations, and feelings about your body, in addition to locations of your body and objects.